Welcome all to the Pro Football Radio Podcast. We are at episode number 21. This is your co-host, Cheema, with the pride and joy of Merrimack, New Hampshire, Puma.
Dude, that intro gets better every week with the whole homage to Vincent K. McMahon.
Dude, it's funny you bring that up because when we first started doing this, I listened to some of the older podcasts. Our intros were crap. We were crap in general.
Dude, no shit. We're in your little conference room. Yeah. We're trying to edge our way through a little birthday party.
Yeah. I do.
Dude, the whole family took over the rec center. And we're just we walk into the conference room and someone's changing a baby in there, and it's all right, we'll be outside.
The early days of the podcast, there were interesting times because we really were just testing left and right.
Right.
Sometimes the audio was crap. Sometimes it was great.
Right.
We couldn't be consistent. Our intros were all crap. When I remember when I would introduce us in the earlier podcast, it was just me trying to spat everything off very quickly.
Yep.
Just because I was I gotta get this out there.
Right.
But I've learned to just kind of get a cadence down now and. Learning from Vince McMahon, the WWE cadence.
Yeah.
With a dramatic effect.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course. It's when we started, it was in the wintertime, and you just had your knee injury. So, we're tippy-toeing to, either my house or your conference room. And,
dude, the knee injury, oh my God, dude.
Dude, that was eons ago.
That was only 4 months ago. I had my surgery in February. I tore my meniscus in late December.
Yep.
On my birthday, by the way.
That's right.
On my birthday.
Tara and I were in D.C. waiting for your ass.
People, this is a great story. So for my birthday, I tell Tara and Brandon that I really want to go see this band in Washington, D.C. They're called Above and Beyond.
Yep.
A lot of trance, EDM kind of music. And these guys were great about it. They're yeah, of course, we'll go down for your birthday, man. And they went down a day before I did.
Yeah.
And I was going to come down after, whatever my situation was, at work or whatever it was. And the night before I'm supposed to drive down, I come out of a booth at Pies and Pints, and I put this insane torque on my knee that I shouldn't have, tore my meniscus right off, right between my kneecap.
Dude, I'll never forget when you texted us.
Yeah.
We were doing the touristy thing. We're okay, so the show's tonight. We'll do Arlington National Cemetery, and then we'll do one other spot. I wanted to check out the U.S. Marine Corps Memorial, the Iwo Jima statue, and we're in Arlington National Cemetery. I just found Joe Lewis's gravesite, and you texted me being hey guys, sorry I can't make it. I blew my knee out. Now, Jay, I love you, but I'm not gonna lie. I read that text, and in the middle of the cemetery, I almost belted out, "This son of a bitch!"
Well, how is it my fault though?
Dude, it was
how
just
is it my fault?
It was just hilarious because the timing. I'm in this holy site, this national remembrance. You're supposed to be quiet. You're supposed to reflect and think about the people that died for this country.
Yeah.
And here I am reading this on a text, and all I can think of is this son of a bitch.
So what am I supposed to do? I was on my couch for a week after that.
Dude, it's just hilarious, the timing of it all. That's my point. Is I'm trying not to yell in the cemetery that God damn it.
You should have been. I can just see you reading that text and being damn it, Jay, right? And somebody walks by and you're just oh, I'm sorry, that's just Jay.
Dude, I had to hold back. I read it and I was oh, I'm in Arlington. I can't.
Well, so part of my thing was I didn't know how severe the injury was until the next day, so I tore it on that Friday night, and I was supposed to drive out Saturday morning or whatever it was for the show Saturday evening. But I remember Sarah, she was supposed to go down as well. She was well, why don't you just go and ask them for a wheelchair, access kind of thing. Maybe the handicap thing will get you backstage and all that stuff.
Oh my God.
And I was I don't want to be that guy. Plus, I really couldn't put any weight on it. It was just so swollen.
And looking at the venue too, it wouldn't have worked even if you stood there. And it worked out too because Tara wasn't feeling that great that day anyways either. So it was blessing in disguise at the expense of your meniscus. But
so like as I get older, man, like I'm really starting to like freak out that like stuff like because like that venue itself, it would have been a great time, and I'd have been like off to Pluto and it'd been absolutely amazing. But like part of me also just wants to nowadays just sit in a really comfortable like owl shop kind of loungy area, have some like little jazz music playing on the background.
You're a jazz man.
Like, not too much like noise. I think that's like starting to become an issue for me.
So almost like white noise in the background.
I can't go to bars that have excessive amount of music playing.
Oh my God, you're such an old man,
dude. Like seriously, like
if it's too loud, you're too old.
Seriously, I'm not lying to you. Like there are spots that I go to, I'm like, this is just, it's not doing it for me. It's too loud. People are bumping into me. Like I'm past all that.
We're the yin to I'm the yin to your yang, man. I love bars and I love live music.
When it's too loud? Like, dude, I hate it. I hate it when I can't have a conversation with the people I'm out with. That's my biggest pet peeve on the planet is you make these plans, you take time out of your day, our busy lives, to go out with people that you care for, you love, or your family or friends, whatever it is, right? And you can't get to that venue and you can't talk to them. Like, I think that's like disrespectful in a way, right? Like, I get it if you take like some bimbo on a first Tinder date to this loud club where you don't want to hear her talk. I get that, you know what I'm saying? But why do you take like your friends?
There's only one thing I want to hear,
right? Do I have a point here or no? Right? This is a great line in what was it? Was it the Rock movie? Was it the Fast and Furious movies, or was it whatever movie it was? Like they're in a loud. There's like really old like executive looking dude with like this 25-year-old like almost prostitute looking like person, right? And it's a really loud club, and she's like, should we get out of here? I can barely conversate with you. And he just looks over and he's like, what makes you think I want to talk to you?
Oh, that's Batman. That's Batman. That's Batman. The Dark Knight with the Joker.
Yes,
then the Joker kidnaps him or something.
Yeah. He's like, well, what makes you think I want
What makes you think I want to talk? Yeah. And then freaking Bruce Wayne comes and hangs him upside on a building. Yeah. What's great is I completely understood the movie you're talking about by like the little, like barely anything you just told me about the scene. Love it.
That's why we're on the same wavelength.
Yep. Oh my God.
No, but do you see my point here or no? Like, maybe we are getting old. I think we're starting to get to that point in life where we're all just,
Hang on. Beep. Time out.
What was that again? What was that again?
Beep. Okay. I love live music. For those of you that can't see, that was a half-ass attempt at a whistle. Nah, dude, I love live music. If I'm going to a bar and there's like a live band going on, the person I'm talking to is probably going to go deaf because like I'm screaming at them. But I see your point. Yeah. If you're trying to get like a get together and you have people freaking strangling a cat trying to cover lit. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. I also have a interesting take on live music.
Oh, here we go.
I can already see your face.
Here we go.
I said one statement, bro.
Why do I feel like it's going to involve, if it's not coming from a laptop, I don't want anything to do with it.
I think live music, if you're going to be in a venue, right, where you're going to just deafen me, right, then you better be good. Like, I don't want, like, Joe Schmo that has a band in his backyard for, like, 2 years, like, set up as a guy at this bar where I'm trying to have dinner and like have a couple of drinks and it's like just like coming at me too much. You know what I'm saying?
That's how it starts.
I don't care. If you're
so
good.
you're telling me out the womb, Above and Beyond was great. They never had to play live anywhere. They just like did their thing and they sent it to like Capitol Records for, talent relations. And they're like, instantly just played that mixtape. It's like, oh, yeah, these guys, yeah, okay, but sign to a contract.
But those guys have potential. Like, those guys, I'm sure when they played when they were younger in these live venues, I'm sure they were like, oh, well, these guys have some talent. But some of these guys that just throw out there for live music, they're bad.
Oh, my God.
They're very bad, Brandon.
I can't listen to you anymore.
My thing is, I hate those people that just like, yeah, this live band's playing, I'm going to go check it out. What? How do you know? Like, how do you know this band sucks? How do you know this band is good? Like,
that's
you're just going to go and experience it.
That's the appeal. Best case, you're entertained for the evening. Worst case, you have 2 drinks, you hear someone strangling a cat, and then you walk down the street. See, that's how it works.
What'd you say?
Someone strangling the cat. Or Sadie. If my roommate, Blake, is my former roommate, and his wife is listening, strangling Sadie.
See, speaking of bands, I was thinking the other day, how bands have really ridiculous names?
Yeah.
I was in the bathroom and I think I was putting deodorant on and I was like, what if you had a band named Deodorant Face? What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, there's a death metal band called Cannibal Corpse, so why not? Napalm Death?
Is that really a name?
That's really a name.
Wow.
The thrash metal napalm death.
I guess that kind of makes sense, right? You have some death aspects, you have some napalm, both very destructive things for destructive music. But deodorant face, like, what would you even like?
Probably like pop punk, a little bit of like Bowling for Soup. I would say that. Yeah,
I feel like
Alien Ant Farm.
I feel like it'd be a name for like a Japanese pop band. You know what I'm saying? But your Hello Kitty backpack, Rising Sun bandana. They're the deodorant face.
They're the band.
Super excited for no reason.
They're the band that you see on what was it, like Dance Dance Revolution at the arcade game. They're the band that plays in the background. And you have to do like the freaking dance moves and shit.
Is it bad that like I've gone to the point in life where like anytime I like envision like a Japanese person, I think of like Hello Kitty and the Rising Sun bandana. Like if I think of a Canadian, I think
What do you think of South Park?
I think of like people on mooses with drinking maple syrup. You know what I'm saying? Like just shit like that. What
the hell?
It's not like derogatory. Like it's not like, you know how some people think of like.
Hang on a sec. You see someone that's like of Asian descent, and you immediately jump to like Hello Kitty, Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, but it's not derogatory.
It's not derogatory. Yeah, I'm not saying like you guys are, you know, like short and whatever you want to like look at their appearance. Like I'm not making a comment on their appearance. I just culturally I think like these guys probably like Pokemon. If I want to relate to them,
I'm Brazilian, Irish, and French. I love Pokemon. What the hell is that?
You like Pokemon?
Dude, I still got my Game Boy Pocket upstairs. I still got red, blue, yellow. I used to have a Game Boy Advance. I had crystal and gold and silver. I had all that. I had all that shit. I still got that shit up there.
Wow. Remember when Pokemon Go came out?
Never played it.
Oh, dude.
I was never. I stuck true to the roots. I wasn't a Pokemon Go dick rat or anything like that.
Dude, me and a friend of mine, Sarah, we got really into it. We were still working at Tradewind.
Oh, I know you guys got into it.
We would like drive around the airport, like
too hot, boots hot.
Yeah, exactly right. And like we would go down to like 67 to catch. I remember she was driving once behind me, and all of a sudden I see her swerve into a gas station, and I'm like, hopefully she's okay. And I circle back and I pull up to her and she's like, I'm sorry, I saw a Bulbasaur here. And I'm like, ooh.
How can I forget? Coming back from Atlantic City, I think I was sitting in the back because we just left New Jersey, so we swapped seats. I was in the back, you were driving, and Sarah O sat up front. And I think she was playing Pokemon Go like the whole way home from New Jersey to Connecticut on like the Merritt Turnpike, like, oh my God, I got a Polygon, or oh my God, like, look at this side duck over here. Yeah. And I'm sitting back here like, no, I'm an OG. I'll stick with the Game Boy.
Yeah.
Nope.
You know what they should do? They should really like update the whole Pokemon game thing to play like via Wi-Fi. You know how you had a little link cable between Game Boys?
I had the link cable too.
Why don't you just do it via Wi-Fi and they could play with each other? But going back off the initial topic I want to talk about, like it's not derogatory the way I see like other cultures. It's not like me commenting on their appearance or who they are, or like, you know how, listen, this is not what I think, but you know how when I talk about Jewish people, you talk about like money and you know what it is, you know what I'm saying? I don't think of it that way. I just think of like
that's how we get pulled off of SoundCloud.
You know what I'm saying? Like for Mexicans, I think of like what are those fucking big ass shorts they wear? Like
Jenko jeans?
Yeah, Jenko jeans. They're like they're barbecuing
God.
in Oakland Raiders Stadium. You know what I'm saying? That's what I see. I don't see like the derogatory side of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make a point here, and I hope you can understand a little bit.
How's the dirt? You're digging a hole with your tongue. How's it tasting? Is the dirt tasting good? The dirt has to be tasting good.
When I think of people from the Middle East, I don't think of terrorists. I think of people riding around in camels, you know what I'm saying, with like turbans. Like, I mean, that's not, like, it's not derogatory.
It's cool. You can say that. If I say, hey, camel boy, come here, I'm going to get my head cut off. Like, come on.
Camel boy.
Come on. And it's fine. You'd be like, hey, Brandon, like, should you be building like a soccer stadium or playing football? Hands down, I'm Brazilian and I suck at soccer.
Well, the first time I met you, I just wanted to yell, goal!
And you got to hit that with the echo. Hit it with the echo. Hit that with the echo.
I was like, hey, Brandon, how are you?
Goal! There you go. That's music to my ears. We totally clipped on that, but that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. So where do we go before we stopped one step short of wearing a MAGA hat?
I think this is a great conversation right now. We're in the dog days of summer, in the dog days of summer, right?
Right.
There isn't any football news. We got to fill at least 30, 40 minutes of something here.
Well, speaking of football, well, hang on. We'll get to that story in a second, but we took last week off. Now, what did you do on your week off? On my promo video, they saw me at the beach trying to record a promo and plug the local surf shop that I go to. Mm-hmm. That's really the extent of what I did on my week off. What did you do?
Dude, I just had Oh, last weekend?
Yeah, last week. Because we took last week off.
Last weekend, what did I do? Absolutely nothing, I think.
You didn't do nothing? The whole week?
I think I just,
You were just held hostage at the office?
During the week, I was in the office. Like, we had, I was telling you offline, we had an aircraft that was blown off its axis 180 degrees.
Oh, shit.
The Falcon 7X.
Yep.
Some jackass pilot from a different company parked too close to us, and then when he tried to pivot out, he pivoted out using full 100% of his jet engine powers, right?
Oh shit!
And it was literally like 10 yards behind. It was 10 yards behind was our aircraft. You know what I'm saying? And when you're supposed to make those turns in those tight corridors with our aircraft in the vicinity, like you're supposed to use 20% of your power. You're not supposed to go full on like
right.
And this jackass give it full thrust for like a good 3 seconds, and it blew our aircraft off its axis, and that's a shitstorm. We've been dealing with that for the whole week. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I haven't had to do so much like insurance work and insurance claims and a bunch of bullshit that had to go into that, but that's just been taking up all my time,
Damn. Yeah. So what happens? Like, I've never had to deal with that. So what happens with that? Like, do you find out what that tail number was and file a claim? Like, what happens?
We're still working through legalities there, right? This is the first time I'm going through it as well.
Right.
We saw the security cam footage from Vancouver International Airport, and it clearly shows this global from a competing company that blew our aircraft off its axis 180 degrees. But the first step we had to do was we had to secure the aircraft, right? So we had to rush the pilots back to the airport, have them chalk the aircraft again, right? It blew it off its chocks. That's how.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, the aircraft blew off its chocks, right? And then next we went to set up a fast response team to be sent out to Vancouver. So Dassault met us out there, the manufacturer of the aircraft.
They have a great team too.
They have they call it the fast team, whatever they call it. They're out there within like 6 hours. Yep. We had our guy on a plane within 2 hours of the incident. He was out there 8 hours later, right?
Yeah.
So we had both Clay Lacey and Dassault out there representing the aircraft, and they took it through the gauntlet. They went through the airframe checks on it. There was fuel leaks because of some of the fuel lines actually burst because of the volatility of the axis and how it spun. Additionally, the airframe had issues. There was structural damage on the nose gear. What else was it? There was one other thing that they were concerned about. I think it was electrical, but I'm not sure exactly right now. It's spacing me. But yeah, after all that checked out, after 3 or 4 days, they replaced the stuff they needed to replace that was broken. Now the aircraft's flying as we speak.
Right.
It's just about getting the other back end of it figured out, right? So there's probably gonna be a lawsuit or some sort of.
I was gonna say, it's like, would it be in like poor peasant terms, like if I rear-ended your car, what happens? You guys figure out what that tail number was? And
so we know what the tail number was. We know who the operator was. We contacted them. They got us in touch with their legal department and their insurance people. And now our insurance people and our legal departments are working with their departments. I think there's some litigation and some lawsuits coming just because what they did was super unprofessional and almost dangerous. If there was somebody in that aircraft, a guy back there. If there was somebody in our aircraft, if there was like a line guy sitting like 3 yards away, he probably would have died. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, it was just not good. Not good all the way around.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
so I mean that took up so much of my time that it was just like the whole it started like late Sunday night into like all of like Thursday night. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
holy shit.
So it was just an insane week.
Yeah, Jesus.
How about you, Matt? What about your end?
Oh, I mean, let's see. Went up to the folks last week, hung out with them, caught up with my old boss from summer camp, Casey. She works at a bar down the street, and they had live music there.
Good live music or crap?
Well, here's the thing. So I got there before there was a cover. Now I don't have a problem paying a cover.
Sure.
But I'm not paying $10 for a cover for like an open mic night, pretty much. Like I'll pay $5. $5 is the extent that I'm gonna do. But when one of her coworkers came up, and was like, oh, there'll be $10. I'm like, 10? Yee.
Yeah.
And then like she saw me and she's like, oh, you can sit at the bar and you just have to leave at 8 unless you want to come back. You just have to pay the cover. So I heard the band in sound check, and I'm like, y'all are worth $10? Y'all are not worth $10.
So a live music band that was shitty.
So, but see, I got there before I had to pay the cover. Yeah. So if I got there and I had to pay a cover, I'm going to sit there for at least a half hour. It's going to become a pride thing at that point. But I got there, I pounded like a couple of drinks, and then went home kind of deal, and caught up with her and heard how summer camp was and whatever. And then I bought tickets for the Buffalo Bills game.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Before we get to that, so you're saying you went to an establishment and they had crap live music,
but I didn't pay. Okay. I heard sound check. I pounded the drinks real quick, caught up because I was like, I'm beating the clock here.
Yeah.
I got to get this before 8 o'clock because then like one of the coworkers was like kind of hovering around, being like,
What are they gonna do? Kick you out at 8:01?
And like I'm talking to her boss.
Yeah.
That's the greatest part. It's
Yeah.
like there's 5 people there
Yeah.
that pay $10 to see this band.
They made $50 down there,
Dude,
bro.
like the venue is it's a decent size, live music area. Like there's a bunch of tables and seats, and then you can do standing room only.
Yeah.
So if it was like if they had a good haul, maybe it picked up later on in the night, they could make some serious cash at the door. And but when I got there was like nobody there. It was tumbleweeds, and like she's kind of hovering around, like standing near like at the end of the bar, kind of looking while I'm like bullshitting with Casey. And it's like, okay, I get it. Like it's 8:03. I'm finishing this. I'm closing the tab. I almost felt like giving you a 5 just because of your work, just standing down there. But that was pretty much it.
All right, cool. Well, now the Buffalo Bills part of it.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm super stoked.
Dude, I'm stoked. November 3rd.
You want to give the listeners a rundown of that?
Yeah, so Poncho and myself.
Poncho and the Puma.
Love it. Love it.
So before we cut you off there again, I'm sorry if I keep
Jesus,
cutting
you want me to tell the story or you want to tell the story?
No, I just want to
No, you tell the story.
No, I just want to let the listeners know that we are going to launch a secondary podcast probably in 6 to 8 months after the football season has ended.
Right.
It's just going to be a complete bullshit section. Like right now we're like driving the line between bullshit and football.
Yep.
But the secondary podcast called Poncho and the Puma podcast with our caricature faces with the nice logo. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
I go for it.
You sure you want to tell the story?
I'm good. I'm going to shut up now.
So, besides hanging out on the beach with the folks and catching up with old coworkers, I bought us tickets to go to the Buffalo Bills Washington Redskins game in Buffalo, November 3rd. You get to see your boy Dwayne. I'm assuming he's starting by then. It's like week 9 or 10
he's
at
from
that
where
point.
again?
What's that?
Where's he from?
Oh, Ohio State.
Go Buckeyes.
Yeah, a bunch of hairless nuts. Anyways, so yeah, we'll be going to Buffalo, and I got my GoPro somewhere around here, so we're going to do a little video blog. So Poncho and I will be in a car for 6 hours, and it's going to be great. So the plan is, we're going to get there, Saturday?
So we can leave early Saturday morning, right?
Right.
We can leave like 7 o'clock in the morning, right?
Yeah.
They'll put us in Buffalo by like 1, 2 with a couple of stops, right?
Right.
We check into our hotel.
A couple of stops. Is this code for we got to stop for Starbucks?
So I'm gonna plan out the Starbucks that I want to hit along the way.
Oh, God.
If
if you throw any shit out my window, you're going out the window. You ain't throwing shit out my car. I am not.
So where are we gonna keep it?
I'll bring a little bag for you.
All right,
And you can put it in the bag. And you can put it in the back seat of the car.
If you're cool with keep dirtying up your really nice car, then
it's okay because like every time we stop for another Starbucks, I can put it in the trash can.
So 6 hours, we're probably gonna need 2 stops. Probably when we leave in the morning to get my coffee, and then probably like 4 hours in, it's gonna be early in the morning. I need probably a second cup by like 9, 10ish,
Yeah.
So we'll plan out 2 Starbucks stops.
Yeah, I'm still thinking I'm taking the over on that. I think you're gonna be like, oh, let's stop at 3 Starbucks.
Dude, no lie, I'm super stoked about it, right?
Dude,
Just
I'm excited.
Early November, that'll be towards the end of like the peak foliage season, and driving through like New York up to Buffalo, we're gonna see some amazing fall foliage. Which is like my favorite time of the year.
We can do the touristy shit. We can see Niagara Falls real quick and get some friggin' buffalo wings in Buffalo, and then check out the game the next day.
Yeah. So,
it should be good. It should be really good.
Well, yeah. So like I said, we get in around like 3ish. We check in. Depending on what the weather's like, we'll probably just do Niagara Falls immediately, right?
Right.
And then go on the town.
Yeah. So anyone that's up in Buffalo, be on the lookout.
Yeah. Anybody that want to tag along from the podcast, let us know as well.
We're tickets are cheap.
Tickets are dirt cheap, like $30 a piece, right?
Yep.
Let us know. It'll be a great adventure. We can meet in Connecticut and drive up.
Yeah.
Come join us. Let us know.
Be a fun time.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm super stoked about my boy Dwayne Haskins.
He should be starting. He's probably going to be starting.
Now, speaking of Dwayne Haskins, did you see the Madden ratings that came out for the rookie quarterbacks?
A little bit.
So I want to run this by you. I want to get your opinion, right? So Madden released its rookie quarterback ratings. Number 1 was Kyler Murray at 73 overall, which is a good score for him, right? Number 2 was Dwayne Haskins at 72. I get that, right? Drew Lock was at number 3 with 67 as the overall rating.
Now, is this just the offensive side of the ball?
Offensive side.
Okay.
Offensive quarterbacks.
Okay.
Yep. Number 4 was Will Greer at 66. undrafted Tyree Jackson.
One of my boys, dark horses to watch.
But the key point being here, undrafted.
Yep.
64.
Okay.
And the number 6 overall pick that came in dead last, Daniel Jones at 63. I'm going to turn the floor over to you. I want to hear your thoughts on that.
Two things. One, it's fine. It's a video game.
Yeah,
I get that. Hey, you were turning the floor over to me.
All right,
Shut your mouth.
Right.
Shut your mouth.
What I want to say about that is, like, Madden does have a good track record of evaluating talent. They do. They really do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay, one, it's a video game. And two, they also showed that rating to other rookies and like sophomores on the Giants roster, and even they were blown away at how low they set Daniel Jones at.
Of course they are. They're his teammates, Brandon.
But here's the thing. Every report coming out of Giants OTAs and rookie minicamp is he looks week 1 ready. Yeah. And even
So does Kyler Murray and Dwayne Haskins.
Well, Kyler Murray, what's your next option? Brett Hundley? He's going to start.
I'm just saying, Brandon, it's what you're going to hear out of OTAs. You're going to hear he looks great. You're going to hear he's the next coming up.
So when critics have to eat a little bit of crow and they're saying, yeah, Daniel Jones is looking really good. He could start week 1. They're walking it back. It's not like it's a narrative coming out of Park Avenue saying, oh, we have to inflate it.
It's just OTAs.
Maybe.
That's what.
Yeah, and then they were saying,
to look good.
And they were saying Kyler Murray looked great in OTAs, but we're supposed to put value in that. So how about we take the hatred off for the Giants real quick?
I'm not taking the hatred off the Giants. I'm just saying, like, I know, there's so much good stuff that came out of Washington Redskins camp about Dwayne Haskins. I didn't send any of that stuff to you because at the end of the day, I know that's just a bunch of bullshit that they're feeding me. I'm not being a hypocrite here. I know what Dwayne Haskins, the information coming out of Redskins camp is skewed because it's not accurate. You know what I'm saying? But that's just what you're going to hear out of OTAs, man. Like, it's OTAs.
Yeah, but then you have people like Dan Orlovsky, who was one of the biggest critics of Daniel Jones.
What does he know about quarterbacking? The guy went 0-16, all right?
But
with the Lions.
You're missing the point, is people that were talking mad shit about Dave Gettleman and the Giants. And first off, I'm a Dolphins fan, and I'm defending the number 6 pick, which is great. But people that were criticizing him, like I said, Dan Orlovsky or other people on, say, the NFL Network that were blown away by that, they had to walk it back a bit, especially when Mike Shula, the offensive coordinator, said he's week 1 ready, and then Pat Shurmur opened the door to essentially a quarterback competition in camp. You're not going to open that door just for like shits and giggles. You are saying those statements for a reason.
No, I think you are saying those statements because it's propaganda. Simply put, I think every single.
But Pat Shurmur is propaganda when clearly the Mara family and Steve Tisch?
Listen, Brennan, what is the alternative? What are they gonna say besides that? Are they gonna say, yeah, he looks normal? If they say anything besides he looks great, it's gonna cause a shitstorm because it took him with number 6 overall.
Clearly, ownership and the general manager are ready to move on, especially when Mara, he was the one pulling the strings last year with McAdoo, or the year before, of, hey, let's take Eli out and let's see what other quarterback we could put in there. Their biggest mistake was, we'll put, what was the friggin' idiot's name? The kid out of West Virginia.
Geno Smith.
Was it? Geno Smith. Yeah. And then all hell broke loose, and then they walked it back because they couldn't take the heat. But now, Dave Gettleman just doesn't give a shit. He's a perfect, WWE manager. He just doesn't care. He finally got the Mara family in line to realize that you need to plan for life after Eli, and Daniel Jones is probably the most pro-ready quarterback coming out of the draft, despite the fact he's thrown to a 5'9" dentist, and he's facing cover 0 in Clemson. He's the most pro-ready, and even the Redskins were ready to draft him, but ownership was kind of putting the squeeze on taking Dwayne Haskins because Daniel Snyder's son is best friends with him from high school.
Oh, are they really?
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that.
Uh-huh.
Oh, all right. All right, well, time will tell, man. I just wanted to bring that up and get your blood pressure through a roof. And see
but the number 1 overall rated player for rookies in Madden, I think, was Quentin Williams at 83.
Yeah, this is just quarterback. This is just quarterbacks, yeah. So, cool, man. Awesome. Do you know who the number 1 overall player was in Madden at all this upcoming year, or...?
The number 1 overall? I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't played Madden since the 25th anniversary when I think Barry Sanders was on the cover.
Yeah, I bought Madden 2 years ago. Last year or 2 years ago, when Tom Brady was on the cover, right?
Right.
I bought that because I was still living with my old roommate Ian, and we played it for 3 nights straight, and then we stopped playing it. I'm at the point now where I'm like, video games don't do it for me. You know
I can't even remember the last video game I played. Every now and then I would play Call of Duty, Black Ops 2, and I would just replay old missions. One of my favorite ones was when you played Raul Menendez, and you're going from being captured by Manuel Noriega to like trying to get like to your house where your sister is because like troops are like trying to take her prisoner and he goes fucking ham. Like I love that level.
Speaking of games, like what I wish they really do, and I promise people we'll get to NFL.
We're gonna get to football because I kind of teased that top 10 quarterbacks in 2019, and all hell broke loose in the mentions with what I said.
You did throw out some stupid shit.
I did not throw out stupid shit. I looked at it from an analytical standpoint. I'm sorry, I'm not a homer.
Oh, come on, Brandon. Come on.
Okay.
Right, we'll get to that. Let's get to it right now. Fuck it. Let's just get to it.
All right. Do your bit. I'm going to grab another beer.
So my whole thing with video games is I wish they would get to a point where they would take old classic games like Sonic and Super Mario Bros. And Crash Bandicoot and have them on Apple ready devices, right? So like what you can do is you go to the App Store, download an app, just play those games. But I don't want to like take out my old Nintendo or my old N64 to play like Crash Bandicoot, right? If you just
right? That would be sick.
Yeah, could you imagine just downloading it onto your phone and just like us playing like online or something via Wi-Fi or whatever?
Sick.
But
wait, which Crash Bandicoot game was your favorite?
God, I forget off the top of my head. I think the first one was for me. The
first one?
Yeah, the first and original one, you know what I'm saying?
Dude, I love Warped, where like you got to play as like Crash, and then I think like the sister, and then you could do like different levels. You would transfer through time, and one of them was like you're riding this fucking tiger if you're the sister, and you're like racing up and down the fucking Great Wall of China. Yeah. That one was sick. Yeah. I loved it.
Quick question. Greatest game for you growing up?
Oh, God. Greatest game? I got to go to the Nintendo 64. I love Star Fox. Star Fox.
Star Fox, good game.
Was the best. Game. Like, there were different ways you could get to, like, the ending, but, like, if you went one way, it was kind of a fake ending. If you went, like, through the asteroid belt, like, that was sick. And then, like, the whole submarine Dude, I love the submarine and the tank. I couldn't give a
Star Fox
shit
is a good one.
about the aircraft.
Star Fox is a good one. I would go with just probably the Super Mario. They're just the regular original Super Mario. I mean, that's just iconic growing up, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But like for an arcade game, like when you go to like the local laundromat in Brooklyn, for me it was Marvel vs. Capcom.
Dude, yes.
Dude, such a good game, bro. Oh my God.
I always stacked Spider-Man
and
with
Ryu.
the Hulk.
Oh, I did Spider-Man and was it Ken or Ryu? Which one was the one with the white
white with the black hair? That was Ryu.
That was Ryu, right? Yeah. So Ryu and Spider-Man, bro. That's where it's at, right, you know?
Yeah. That was good. Yeah. And then I think Iceman was in that game. I was a huge Iceman mark when I was a kid too.
Yeah. Second favorite game of all time after Super Mario Brothers on Super Nintendo or any of those systems was Mortal Kombat.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Fatality.
Sub-Zero.
Flawless victory.
Finish him. Right?
Finish him. Dude.
Such good times, man.
It's great. You can't get that shit anymore.
Why can't companies get to a point now where these phones that we carry around are so much more powerful than those old gaming consoles, right? Like, why can't we play them on our phones nowadays, right?
Oh, it comes down to cash, man. Licensing.
Well, I would pay for it. I would legitimately pay for it.
Licensing. You think they want to pay Apple or fucking Google? Hey, carry this old game? Comes down to how much cash they could get.
That's true. All right, we're 32 minutes in. Let's get some football. Brandon the Puma Silva, right?
Yep.
Teased a top 10 quarterback ranking for us going into next year.
For just 2019. Yes. Not projecting 3 to 5 years, not greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Just for this upcoming season from 10 to 1, what are the quarterbacks we would want and quickly why?
Sure. Well, you want to do it 10 to 1 or 1 to 10? Let's do 10 to 1. So
10 to 1. Right? We'll work our way up. Right,
so cool. I'll start off. So at number 10, I will take, and this guy barely made it in for me. This guy barely squeezed in for me. And it was between Baker Mayfield and Carson Wentz.
Mm-hmm.
And I chose Baker Mayfield. Simply put, because the way
we're close. We kind of agree.
Yeah, the way I see it is Baker and Carson both had about a good 13-game run, right? The way I see Carson Wentz is 2 bad years with injuries, right? 1 decent year. I'm sorry, 2 middle-of-the-pack years, right, with injuries, and 1 really good year where he made that 13-game stretch before he got hurt, right? So with that being said, and what Baker Mayfield did last year, how he basically for 13 games lit it up as well for 27 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, whatever it was.
Right.
I chose to take Baker over Carson just because we do know Carson is injury-plagued, we don't know if Baker is just an benefit of the doubt. So I barely snuck in Baker Mayfield over Carson Wentz for the number 10.
Okay, well, Wentz cracked the top 10. I was torn, though, because it was either for 10, it was either going to be Wentz or Goff. And I went Wentz just because of everything that was coming out of camp. And, quietly, everyone wants to, rightfully so, they want to question the injury concern. But quietly last year in 11 games, he completed almost 70% of his passes. He had 21 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. It threw for 3,000 yards.
Yeah.
So in like an injury-shortened season, I like the potential for this year. He's coming out great. He worked on his diet. The knee, he's going to be a year and a half removed from the ACL injury. He looks great. Everything coming out of OTAs and veteran minicamp is he looks like he's back to 2017 form. So I'll take him at number 10. And he's not quietly, because I was on Twitter a couple of weeks ago. He would be my pick for MVP this year. I'm going to put weight on that.
Sure,
bridge.
Obviously, man. If the guy can stay healthy, then he is a great MVP candidate.
Right.
But I never questioned his greatness. I just know that for the time he is great. How long is that? Like, how long before he gets hurt again, right? The guy is injury prone. So for me, that's big, man. I will availability into your skill set as well, just because that's something that a lot of people don't see my way as well. Number 9, this one's a little bit of a dark horse for me, and it's a little bit of a gamble on my part, but I went Matt Ryan. And the reason why I went Matt Ryan was because the guy's career seems to be a roller coaster. It's a lot of 1 year great, 1 year down, 1 year great, 1 year down. 2 years ago, he won the MVP, was in the Super Bowl, was up 28-3 until Lord Brady, as I call him from here on out, Lord Brady, came back and won the Super Bowl. But before, he had an MVP season 2 years ago. He had a crap season last year, and I think he's ready for another great year again. I think this could be one of his last opportunities with him and Julio Jones before they implode that team and try to start from scratch.
Right.
So I think this is a little bit of a dark horse for me where Julio Jones will come out. Matt Ryan will come out fine this year.
Right. Ryan, he's on my list, but we're going to have to wait a little bit to hear why I have Ryan where he is.
Oh, you actually have him higher?
Yeah, I have him higher. I have him higher. Number 9 for me is Deshaun Watson.
That's a stretch. Okay.
He's another one of like Wentz. He's a year and change removed from his knee injury, and the offensive line, it has to have gotten better in the draft. Sure. He was the most sacked quarterback last year at 63. He's got the arm. He has the best wide receiver in the NFL, and his mobility keeps him alive. The only thing that is going to hinder him is if Bill O'Brien is still going to keep running him in the red zone. And like you said with Wentz, the availability. The guy, you can't question his toughness because he rode a bus. I think it was from Houston to Jacksonville because he couldn't go on the team plane because he had a punctured lung, and he played that Sunday against Jacksonville on the road. So if he can stay healthy, I can see him at number 9. He's also a value pick for MVP. I think he opened up at like 25-1 for Vegas odds. So I like Watson, number 9. That's fine by me.
Okay, I like it. I can see that. At number 8, I have Big Ben. A lot of people have him fairly higher than I do,
including me.
Yeah, but I so him and Rodgers for me, and Rodgers will come up here soon as well. They both have that not good teammate, drama-filled bullshit coming out of the locker rooms that really irks me, right? Great leaders are sound and safe, like the Andrew Lucks, the Peyton Mannings, the Russell Wilson, Tom Brady's. They shut their faces. You never hear anything from them. They just move on, right? Mm-hmm. And Big Ben, the last couple of years, has just been a lot of bullshit about him, right? A lot of people coming out and saying shit. So, but with all that shit being said and AB being shipped off to Oakland, I do think he will have a bounce back year. I think he will be in the MVP race for me just because I think he's come out slinging. I think Juju's going to assert himself as one of the best wide receivers in the league. I think Big Ben is trying to be a better teammate going forward. I did see this offseason, he took a bunch of his wide receivers and running backs down to his house in the south somewhere on the lake or whatever.
Yeah, Lake Oka something.
Yeah. So I do see him making an effort, which is always a positive sign. But just with all these guys in the top 10, what sets the grades apart from the just good is obviously all have talent, but it's that extra little gear, that extra little like leadership, the extra little being a good teammate aspect that really kind of sets them apart. So with him at number 8 is where I see it.
So we didn't show each other our lists.
Yeah.
But Ben's on my list.
Yeah.
But I have him exponentially higher.
Yeah, and like I said though, like the guy has talent,
right?
But the other intangible stuff that sets Brady so off the charts good,
right,
is not there for some of these guys. The
right. We'll get to why I have him where he is, but number 8. This isn't a shot. This isn't a shot at all.
There we go.
Tom Brady made my list. He
go.
came in at 8 though, so yes, he is the greatest of all time. Yes.
What are you, Max Kellerman over
yes.
here? What are you?
Shut up.
I'm the LeVar Ball of the podcast. You're the Max Kellerman of the podcast.
I'm hitting you with stats. Yes, he's the greatest of all time. And yes, I'm a Dolphins fan. But if we're looking at just this season, 2019, I don't think Belichick's going to ask a whole lot of Brady. I don't think he's going to ask him to chuck the ball down the field. And granted, he threw for 4,000 yards last year, but he had Gronk. He had Gordon. Edelman came back, what was it, week 3 from his PED suspension, something like that?
Sure, yeah.
So, like, those key players came back. I mean, look at the depth chart right now. Like, I think they're going to be a run-first team. They have a shit ton of running backs on there. Yeah. Sony Michel just had a minor knee scope. He's going to be back by training camp. But I mean, beyond Edelman, the other pass catchers on that team are Demaryius Thomas, Dontrell Inman, N'Keal Harry, which we're both high on.
That guy.
But they're going to be a run-first team. They're not going to ask him to throw it a whole lot. I think they're going to want him to save his bullets for December and January for a deep playoff run. Yeah. Not to say he's going to be a game manager, but they're managing his workload.
See,
And if Josh Gordon came, if we knew what the situation was with Josh Gordon, let's say he comes back week 4, I would have him higher on the list, but we just don't know. He could be out 8 games. He could be out the whole year.
The guy has been to the last 3 Super Bowls. He's won 2 of them, and he's executed those game plans as said by Bill Belichick to a T.
Right.
I will say again, there is no way the offense of the Patriots last year when we were in the Super Bowl without them running the ball. Like the offensive talent just isn't there. And maybe next year it'll change with N'Keal Harry and Demaryius Thomas and Josh Gordon. And maybe if all those guys are available this year and he's trying to air it out and he can't get the ball to them, maybe I'll agree to that. But from what Belichick saw for the game plan and what he asked Brady to do to execute that game plan, he's doing it at a magnificent level. Like at the end of the day,
there's no 5 yards. There's slant routes.
There's no other way for them to have won that Super Bowl against Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh without running the fuck out of that ball, keeping the ball away from keeping the ball in the running back's hands, and not having Brady sit back there and have those guys tee off on him and try to sack him. Right.
Well, they did that in the first half, and then he started throwing 5-yard slant routes. And
right. So
Edelman became MVP.
Whatever Belichick has asked of Brady to perform, he has at an exceptional level.
Right.
And the 2 years, I mean, the Super Bowls before that with the Eagles, where he set the record for the most yards thrown in a game in a Super Bowl, right? Or against the Falcons, where he came back 28-3. He did what the game plan asked for him to do.
But I'm talking about just for 1 year. If he's really just going to be standing back there and handing the football off to 4 different running backs, like, that's no shade. It's just, it is what it is.
But we don't know that. This offense might come out slinging. If Josh Gordon
Who's he going to throw to? Who's the tight end? Matt Lacoste?
So N'Keal Harry, Julian Edelman. Listen, we've won in the past without great tight ends. Like before Gronk, there was Edelman there was Welker and Randy Moss. Like there are times where we've won without tight ends, right? But I think this year, if we can squeeze 5-6 good games out of Josh Gordon towards the end of the year,
if he comes back,
if N'Keal Harry comes into his own, Edelman's going to be Edelman. He's going to be reliable, right? And maybe Demaryius Thomas could carve out a little bit of a role. So we'll see what the game plan is this year,
right?
And how they want to attack the offenses, but the defenses. But I see no slippage, and I have it much higher than you do.
Well, that's fine. Yeah. But for this season, there's like 7 other people I have ahead of him just because of we don't know. And you know what? Nobody's taking a W against time. At some point, he is going to hit the wall.
Of course, I get that.
And he looked rough on the road in Pittsburgh going into the playoffs. A couple of times, it's like y'all are about to back into the playoffs right now.
There was a lot of just rumor mill stuff going on about his knee, and he couldn't plant off of his MCL sprain that he had, and he couldn't put the torque on the ball as he needed to. And it looks like with the week off from the regular season into the playoffs, it looks like he recuperated quite well because he came out swinging against the Chargers, right? But I don't know, man. Like I think Brady is a guy that you don't bet against at this point. At this point in his career, you don't bet against. You simply say he's going to be out there next year in the Super Bowl. And until that happens, until that he doesn't make the AFC Championship game or a Super Bowl, I'm just going to be like he's the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah. Hey, teach their own. Teach their own. He's at 8. It is what it is. So you're up with 7.
So number 7 for me was Aaron Rodgers. I had Aaron Rodgers and Big Ben in this part of the list just because they're intangibles. Same things that bug me with Big Ben, bug me with Aaron Rodgers, the bullshit with the head coach, the passive-aggressive comments, the teammates coming out talking shit about you. At the end of the day, he is one of the best throwers of the football and possesses great talent, but he lacks that leadership, right, that will transition him into that great quarterback. I think he'll have a bounce back year as well, and I expect a lot of great things. But then again, you hear the stuff coming out of Green Bay with that fucking you can't have me turn off 11 years.
Turn off 11 years. That's my favorite quote. Right? It's like, you can't have me turn off 11 years.
Big Ben and Aaron Rodgers are the complete, like, great talent, but the intangibles just aren't there kind of thing for me.
Well, number 7, we're getting a Matty Ice. Getting a Matt Ryan. So, despite the team record last year for the Falcons at 7-9, Matt Ryan actually put up stats similar to his 2016 MVP campaign with 4,944 yards, 38 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Actually, I think it was 35. I think he was tied with Russell Wilson, so I did a mistype on that. But he was tied for third in touchdowns this season. 2016, he put up the 38 touchdowns. All right, hang on. Let me fucking start that over again. 2016, his MVP campaign, 4,944 yards, 38 touchdowns, 7 picks. Last season, 2018, 4,924 yards, 35 touchdowns, 7 picks. I can see him getting close to this in 2019. Steve Sarkisian is gone. He went to Alabama to be the offensive coordinator and probably have a little pocket of full of rum back there. And in comes Dirk Koetter. I think he's going to be a little bit closer to the Mike Shanahan style offense. He has Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, and then Mohamed Sanu to throw to. Possibly a healthy Devonta Freeman. I could see him having a breakout, not a breakout, but repeating the stats he put up last season. I'm throwing that 2017 campaign, the Super Bowl hangover, out the window. If he's hitting the MVP stats like he did last season, Matt Ryan's solid for me at number 7, and definitely a guy I'm targeting in fantasy.
Yeah, I always love Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. Probably the best 1-2 combo for wide receiver quarterback in the NFL right now.
Yep.
So I expect great things out of him as well.
It just sucks because, like, nobody really knew, like, the MVP style stats he put up, because his defense couldn't stop a runny nose.
Sure, I get that.
It was absolutely brutal. And I think he's going to throw that team into contention in the NFC South this year.
Of course. At number 6, I have Russell Wilson.
Holy shit, we actually agree on something.
Yeah, right? So Russell Wilson is an interesting character for me. I love everything about him. I love his leadership, his arm talent, his scrambling ability, right? But I feel like he's just up there by himself in Seattle right now. The talent around him isn't what it used to be. A couple years ago, 3-4 years ago, they had Marshawn Lynch and a Legion of Boom. But now, truthfully, it's just him up there by himself, right? Mm-hmm. It reminds me a lot of the 2009 to the 12 Patriots, where about for 3 years, there wasn't much talent on the Patriots roster, and just Birdie up there by himself slinging and trying to get these guys to win. I think that's the same exact thing Russell Wilson's going through right now. And I think he's great enough to carry that team. So he's a little bit lower than most years, just because he came off of a year where they're running the ball like crazy last year, and they might run the ball quite heavily next year as well. So his stats won't be there, but just everything about Russell Wilson I like, and he's at number 6 for me.
Yeah, I have him at 6 too. I mean, for that same reason, Brian Schottenheimer, he's a run first type of offensive coordinator, and Pete Carroll was buying into that. And Chris Carson was running the ball down people's throats, and Rashad Penny. But they just paid the man. He was probably one of the most efficient quarterbacks. He threw for under 3,500 yards, but he was 3rd in the NFL for touchdowns. Yeah. So, like, whenever he's throwing the ball deep, he is hitting somebody in the end zone. The only thing is Doug Baldwin retired, so now you have Tyler Lockett probably taking up more of a target share, and then DK Metcalf, who they took him late in the third round.
I think he was early first. Early second. Second, yeah.
But they took him. Reports coming out of camp is he looks good. What keeps Russell Wilson a little bit more viable, I'm kind of wondering if Schottenheimer's going to kind of let him loose. He is mobile as hell. Mm-hmm. So, like, he can run the ball. He can punch it in the red zone. He's built for the punishment of being a quarterback if he wants to run and whatnot. So I have him at number 6. that's my take on Russ.
Cool, man. At number 5, we actually agreed on something, right?
Yeah.
Look at that. At number 5, I have Patrick Mahomes.
Jesus.
He is a little bit lower.
5?
At 5 for me. Yeah.
Damn.
So I have this firm belief that to prove your greatness, you got to do it for more than 1 year. I really do. I simply put, I cannot coordinate him, and I hate early coordination more than anything on this planet. I cannot coordinate him as the next great quarterback just yet. I see the prospect. I see his arm talent. I see just how smart he is on the field. But for 1 year, it doesn't do it for me, right? The NFL has a way of figuring you out. We've been through this before with great rookie seasons with RG3. Dak had a great rookie season as well, but hasn't been able to replicate that. So there is this way of the NFL figuring you out. And if he comes out next year and lights it up again, I will happily put him into the top 2 or 3 or whatever he deserves at that point. But for me, at number 5 right now, prove for 1 more year, and I'll go. And I'll go with that.
You're gonna have to wait a long time to hear what my thoughts are on Patrick Mahomes. All right, number 5 is Andrew Luck.
Ooh.
Number 5, Andrew Luck, because he's back.
Yeah.
He's back. He had a full season last year, and this was his first year with Frank Reich. He found his form. He looks to be recovered from his shoulder injury 2 years ago. And Frank Reich, it really looked like they got the most out of him. He finished second in the league with passing touchdowns at 39, and he looked every bit the part as one of the best prospects to come out of college.
Yep.
For the Colts, and he should have been in MVP discussions, but he never really was.
Yep.
I mean, the Colts started 1-5 last year, and then they got red hot, and they went into the postseason. They completely destroyed the Houston Texans, and then they went up to Arrowhead, and they kind of got their teeth kicked in just because the defense just couldn't stop Pat. But I think he can keep up with the pace he set last season this year. I think Frank Reich is going to try to have a more balanced attack. You're going to have a healthy Marlon Mack back. Return of the Mack. I think he's going to run the ball a little bit more. I mean, you got T.Y. Hilton, you got Paris Campbell lined up on the outside, Eric Ebron. You're going to get a healthy Jack Doyle. That's a very, very dangerous offense with Andrew Luck. That a couple of photos where he scored a touchdown, he was flexing.
Yeah.
Dude, those guns, man. Second Amendment, license to bear arms right there. He looks jacked. He looks like he's in great shape. I have him at number 5. I'll be targeting him in fantasy as well, too.
I agree with everything you just said. He's at number 4 for me. So
shit. Perfect segue.
I'm not going to repeat everything you said because I agree completely. So at number 4, I have Andrew Luck. I expect great things from him this year as well. He just got to take that next step, man. He's got to get to the next step.
Right.
He came out as the next Peyton Manning. They shipped off Peyton Manning because of this kid. He's got to take the next step.
Right. Nope, that's great. Wow, that was like a perfect segue.
Right, perfect.
Number 4. Phillip Rivers.
Damn, I have my number 3.
Shit!
So you can speak to it.
Dude, all right. So Phillip Rivers, despite his age, Rivers, also known as Bolo Man in the Silva Homestead.
Why Bolo Man?
Because he's from North Carolina. He's a Southern man, and there's like the boat tie or like the regular tie. There's a bolo, and every press conference he's got the bolo tie. He's not taking a step back. He's 37. He's going to be going, into his age 38 season in the next couple of months, and he's still airing the ball out. He's still talking mad shit to other opponents.
I do love that. I love his shit talking so much.
And he's almost situation proof.
Yep.
Whether it's you move the team from San Diego to LA, whether you change offensive coordinators, whether you change head coaches, whether you move offensive pieces around and trade them out or cut them. He is almost situation proof. And but seriously, he's like I said, he's not showing any signs of slowing down. In 2019, I expect him to keep airing the ball out, and he's going to have to because the AFC West from the Chiefs to the Raiders is even the Broncos. Like that is a hard division too. So he's going to have to keep up. He's got the tools with Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Hunter Henry, who I'm expecting great things out of this year. He's one of my other candidates for the MVP. I think he's going to light it up this year. Number 4 is where he falls for me.
Yeah, I have him at number 3, man, and I'll just add to a couple points to that, man. He looked absolutely great last year, man. Came out slinging, threw all over the fucking field, man. He just ran into a buzzsaw in New England. Like, he went up there.
That was a buzzsaw.
And Lord Brady just went at him, you know what I'm saying? The defense went at him. So I think he'll have another great year this year. They have the second best roster in the NFL, top to bottom, after the Browns. So he will be good. They will be good. I just don't understand how he throws it like sidearm from like a
how does he not 45-year-old degree.
Like, I don't understand. Like, my rotator cuff would be sitting.
But think of how many times he's thrown the ball that way from like pee-wee to a kid to college to what, like, good God, like what, 1,000 years with the Chargers?
Yep.
Fun fact, did you know he commutes every day from San Diego to Los Angeles in a van tricked out with cameras? Because he's still having kids. He just had like his 9th kid.
Wow.
So he doesn't want to uproot his family. So every day he'll make the commute. He'll have a chauffeur. They'll drive the van and he'll watch game tape and whatever on his way to and from work to get ready for the game. Dude, Philip Rivers is a fucking man.
9 kids, huh?
He's 2 away from a whole offensive unit.
Well, with him and his wife, they could be an offensive unit, right?
Well, I mean, technically, yes. But if you want kids on the field, 2 more, Phil. Let's go for 11.
I got a good name for him. Philip Pound Town Rivers.
Hey, you know what? God bless you, Phil. God bless you, Phil. So that was my 4.
That was my 3.
Okay.
Yeah, so then you're number 3.
So my number 3 is Big Ben.
Oh, wow. Really high up, huh?
Yeah, he is high up. He's a candidate on my Vendetta tour, you know, just to kind of piggyback on what you said. He's calling up. He's kind of going back to his roots. He's got teammates and wide receivers going out to his lake house, and he's working on stuff, and he's going out on Twitter saying like, oh, look at all the leadership we're doing. I think he honestly, looking back, he took the criticism to heart of like with why the relationship broke down with AB. And what was it, Kevin Colbert, the general manager, saying like there's 52 kids and then Big Ben.
Yep.
So I think he took that criticism to heart. And I think he's going to come out guns blazing. He led the league last year in passing yards. And, you know, this is going to be the first year since probably their last Super Bowl run against the Cardinals where there's no drama in the locker room. There's no Le'Veon Bell wasn't there last year, but now you know he's not going to be there this year. And AB is gone. I think he's going to go out there and he's going to try to prove a point. He's going to force feed the ball to James Washington and Juju Smith-Schuster and, you know, James Conner running wheel routes out of the backfield. You know, he's my dark horse candidate for an MVP. If I was putting money down on anybody right here, Ben Roethlisberger is one of the other value MVP picks.
Sure, I get that, man. At number 2, I have Drew Brees. I know this. It took a long time for me to get to this point, and if I'm gonna give if it's still working, then I won't like hold it against you kind of thing with Tom Brady. So I'm gonna give that to Drew Brees, the benefit of doubt as well. And he's been to the last 2 Super Bowls, and the last 2 NFC Championship games, and they've lost the last 2 NFC Championship games on fluke ass plays. You know what I'm saying? With that play up in Minnesota, where what's the guy's name? The fucking defensive back went for the legs for the
Lattimore.
Yeah, right. So it took a bad angle. Those guys.
It might be wrong.
Saints were going to win that fucking game, and they were going to go to the Super Bowl. And then last year, we all know we have to go through it down this fucking rabbit hole again.
I'm not going to say last year was a fluke play, but real quick, Brees is off my list, and I'll explain why when you're done. So, okay, so go ahead.
For me, I think the guy has proven the last 2 years he's still an elite quarterback. There are times towards the end of the year he does trail off, but that might be something that can be negated with just a better team around him and running the ball some more, saving that arm for late December, January run to the Super Bowl. So I don't see him slowing down. I think he's still going to be the king of the NFC South. And I don't see any issue slowing down with him, bro.
He didn't make my list.
Okay.
Drew Brees didn't make my list. To be honest, he came in at 12.
Your boy Josh is going to be pissed.
That's fine, but he came in behind Jared Goff at 11. Goff came in at 11. Drew Brees came in at 12. I love Brees. He's probably the most underappreciated quarterback of this generation. Like, if you're gonna do greatest of all time of this generation, you got Brady. You got Big Ben because he won 2 rings, and then Eli got 2 rings, and then Brees.
You would put him below Eli Manning as well?
I want to put, but like I'm not ranking those, but like in the pantheon of this age, like if you're counting rings, then he's up there. And Eli, for better or for worse, is up there for 2 Super Bowl rings. Yeah. But like I said, he's the most underappreciated guy. He was airing the ball out the first 12, 13 weeks of the regular season, and then for weeks 14 through 17 he didn't play. But the 14 through 16, he just looked pedestrian. If you averaged it out from 14 to 17, he threw for almost 200 yards and less than 1 touchdown per game. And in the postseason, he looked pedestrian as hell too. He only averaged about 275 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. In a couple of times in the NFC Championship game, nobody wants to talk about this. Some of the plays when he was throwing the ball down the field, he was throwing it in the dirt. The age showed up, the previous shoulder issues showed up. I don't think he can push the ball down the field. If Sean Payton wants to get the most out of Drew Brees, he's going to have to do what Belichick is going to probably be doing this season and manage his workload and save those bullets and run the ball. I think you're going to see more of Lat Murray and Alvin Kamara coming out the backfield. I mean, last year he averaged almost 30 attempts per game from weeks 1 through 13. And from 14 to 17, he averaged 26 attempts. If anyone's going to fall off a cliff, and I'm going to come out and say it, Drew Brees is falling off the cliff. Out of all the old-timers of Brady and Big Ben and Phillip Rivers, the one that's fallen off the first out of that group is Drew Brees.
I don't know how you can make the argument when he's been to the last 2 NFC Championship games. Sure, towards the end of the year, you can see some of that arm fatigue set in, and I get that, man. But when you're at this advanced stage, you're not going to hit every single one of your throws.
Dude, he was putting it in the dirt.
At the end of the day,
he looked like me on my side yard over here.
Oh, God, you.
But that's what he looked like.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, his good that he does still outweighs the bad that he has. Same thing with Brady. The good is still there that outweighs some of the bad. These guys aren't their 25, 26, 27-year-old selves where they're going to hit every single target.
And that's fine, but Sean Payton has him throwing it almost 35 times a game.
Maybe it's a coaching thing then. We have to look at Sean Payton here, you know?
But you have to look at Sean Payton, but the fact is he's not getting any younger. He might be drinking the TB12 Kool-Aid. He's in great shape. He monitors his diet. But the fact is that previous shoulder injury from his days in San Diego, it clearly showed up last year because he was bouncing the ball a few times. And these aren't games where it's just Michael Thomas out there. You have Michael Thomas, you have Alvin Kamara, and then you have Teddy Ginn Jr. back from his injury, and he still was having a hard time pushing the ball down the field.
Go Buckeyes.
That's fine, go Buckeyes, but he couldn't hit the fucking ball to Ted Ginn. A guy that can barely catch the ball as it is, and he couldn't even hit him.
All right, man. I mean, that's you feel very strongly
that's
about
why
this.
He's at 12. That's no shade against Breeze, but it is what it is.
That's definitely a lot of shade. I'll give you that.
Sorry, if numbers are shade, then guilty as charged.
All right, what's number 2?
Number 2 is Aaron.
All right,
Aaron Rodgers. So another Vendetta Tour candidate. He's still athletic enough to move around in the pocket, keep plays alive, and I think he wants to, like Big Ben, go out and prove critics wrong, including us, including myself, about him and the McCarthy dynamic and him and kind of chirping about Matt LaFleur. But here's the thing. If he buys into LaFleur's scheme and the program, he could be lethal in this system. LaFleur wants him to play automatic. He doesn't want him to think. He doesn't want him to audible out of things. You get 2 plays. If you don't like what you see, you check into the second play. The last few years, he's been banged up. In short, because he holds onto the ball too long. He's waiting for the play to develop downfield, i.e. the 2 years ago when he fractured his collarbone, and then last year when he pretty much played on a broken leg against Chicago because he's holding the ball too long. If he's able to buy in this program and hit Devontae Adams quick and Geronimo Allison and Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Aaron Jones out the backfield, dude, this is going to be a dangerous offense in the NFC North and in the NFC as a whole. So he's still athletic enough to do the Aaron Rodgers thing and keep the team alive with 10 seconds left in the game. That's why I have him at number 2.
Cool, man. Awesome. And then at number 1, I have Lord Brady. I think the guy is still chugging in all cylinders. I expect him to be back in the Super Bowl this year again. They've been to the last 4 out of 5 Super Bowls, if I have that correct. The last 3 straight. Won the last 3 out of 4, whatever it is. But I mean, the guy is just winning. He's winning at an all-time level. I don't see any slowing down from him. I do see the team around him and the weapons last year in regards to deep the wide receivers. Obviously there was nothing there. So hopefully this year with N'Keal Harry that can change. I think anybody saying that he's not going to be who he is next year is just straight up Brady 8 at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because his
Brady
numbers,
hand the ball off.
Yeah, his numbers last year were better than the 08 run that Peyton Manning had for his MVP run, right? Brady's numbers last year was 29, 11, and 43, 55 yards for passing. And Peyton Manning's 2008 MVP season was 27 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, and 4,000 yards of passing. So the whole falling off cliff, I don't buy into it one bit. It's just straight Brady hate, in my personal opinion. And the guy's going to be back in the Super Bowl for his 4th straight year or whatever it is.
It's Brady hate because there's no established skill position players short of James White, Sony Michel, and Julian Edelman.
I think with N'Keal Harry and hopefully
because some reports out of camp was N'Keal Harry was having a rough time at OTAs and minicamp.
I mean, then again, I go back to the same old thing of I don't put any stock into OTAs news that come out of it, bro.
To each their own. To each their own. Number 1 is Showtime. Patrick Mahomes. He's got the elite arm. The athleticism keeps him in the top of this list. This offensive unit is mostly intact, even assuming that Tyreek Hill is going to be suspended for probably 6 games. Everyone's kind of speculating 6 games, but I guess that meeting went really well last week or the week before, so he might be back sooner than expected. But you still have Travis Kelce and Damian Williams, and they just picked up Carlos Hyde and Mecole Hardman. Sammy Watkins has had a great veteran minicamp and OTAs. He's looked great. I don't see him missing a beat, and I can understand where other people in the industry are comparing him to this generation's Dan Marino. Dan Marino in '84, he reset the landscape. He threw for like 5,000 yards. He set a record at the time for 48 touchdowns in a season. But like the following season, he came back down to earth with 30 touchdowns. I'm not expecting Mahomes to have a repeat 50 touchdowns in whatever yardage. He's going to regress against the mean. But just the fact that he knows his offense in and out, and I think Andy Reid is probably this generation's Don Shula with the offensive mind that he has. That makes this probably one of the most dangerous quarterbacks in the NFL for 2019. Yeah. I want him on my team.
Of course, man. I see a talent. Trust me, I watched that Patriots-Chiefs game. I watched the Patriots-Chiefs game up in New England as well early in the year. But for me personally, I need to see it for more than 1 year, man. I've seen too many quarterbacks come into this league, light it up for their first year.
Well, and
the NFL has a way of figuring you out,
right?
Until he produces again this year, and I'm not expecting 50 touchdowns. I'm expecting between 35 and 38 touchdowns. I'll be more than happy to anoint him as the next great quarterback after Tom Brady.
Right. But we're not projecting here.
But I just simply want him to show for another year. Stay healthy. I will be interested to see how this pans out this year with the offensive weapons they have around him. Looks like Tyreek Hill will have some sort of suspension. And additionally, that division is not easy to win. The Chargers are still knocking on the heels, man. And if I had to guess right now, Chargers might end up winning that division, depending on how much he regresses. Well, not regresses, but how much he comes back down to normal quarterback standards.
Right.
I just show me to me for 1 more year, and I'll be happy to anoint you, bro.
Yeah. Hey. Give me Pat. And speaking of like Tyreek Hill, I did a couple of mock drafts this week. People are taking Tyreek Hill in the 4th round.
That's stupid.
Taking him I understand like their 8-hour meeting 2 weeks ago went great, but like they took him in the 4th. They're taking him in the 4th round.
That is stupid.
But like I grabbed Kareem Hunt a couple of times on like the 9th round. Nobody wanted to touch him with like a 10-foot pole, but Tyreek Hill went in the 4th round of mock draft. I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy shit, I'll take people. They must be expecting.
Are you already doing mock drafts? It's like July 6th, bro.
It's mock drafts. Why not?
It's like 2 months before you even draft, man.
It's a mock draft that gets you ready. You kind of plan ahead.
All right, bro.
Like a couple of the drafts, I could have snagged Phillip Rivers in the 10th round.
Yeah. We should probably send out the invitations here soon for the PFR Fantasy Football League.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, well, that does it for our top 10. I think the Puma's lost his mind with Tom Brady, but hey.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm using actual logic here and saying that you're going to be handing off the ball most of the time, and you can kind of coast in the AFC East, that you can kind of fine-tune things as an extended training camp up until like week 9 or 10. that you're 8th on my list. I'm sorry.
I'm going to get a shirt that says Lord Brady. Just wear that.
That's fine.
Start a new hashtag. Hashtag Lord Brady.
That's fine.
Yeah, cool, man. We're an hour and 8 minutes, and we thought we weren't
Holy shit.
be able to get through.
And you're all like, oh, we'll have like a 30-minute podcast. Yeah, fuck out of here.
Anything else you want to get to, man?
No, I think actually the other part of my list. So people outside the top 10, I had Jared Goff at 11, Drew Brees at 12. You know why? And then Baker Mayfield at 13, Trubisky 14, Dak at 15. And Josh Allen at just outside the top 15. Yeah.
I didn't even give any thought to outside top 10. I was like, fuck this shit.
Jesus. You're killing me, Smalls.
But yeah, we are super excited. Training camp is a month away from today.
Yep.
That's the first episode of Hard Knocks drops from the 6th of August as well. So it's coming, brother, man.
And another thing about Hard Knocks is Josh Jacobs hasn't signed his rookie contract yet.
Ooh, that's big.
So that's probably going to be a storyline going into August.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. I'm going to turn it over to Puma for the plugs.
So, for the plugs. So, Facebook, Instagram, Pro Football Radio Podcast, Twitter, PFR Podcast. I'm on Twitter at Brando_Puma. Jay Cheema's at Jay Cheema. Like, subscribe, download. We're on SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube. And also, like last week, be sure to check out our boy Pat and his craft beer page, beer_adventures_CT. He's got great local craft beers in Connecticut. He's also plugging some cigars he's been grabbing at Up and Smoke Smoke Shop. Yeah. I think it's in Middletown. So if you're a cigar aficionado like myself or Jay, that's another good spot to check out.
Love me a good stogie, bro. And that should be our thing. We should start reviewing cigars on this podcast.
Hey, I'm down.
Right?
I'm down, Pat. Pat's going to give us a hookup. He's going to tell us what cigars to try out. We can let him know if we think they are great or if they suck dick.
Yep. All right, then. Just some quick programming notes. Myself and the Puma probably won't have a podcast out for a couple weeks now.
Yep. I think we're going to take a little bit of a summer break.
Yeah, we're taking a little summer break. We're going to get ramped up for the football season. We'll be turning out these podcasts on a weekly basis. So we're going to take a couple weeks off. I know the Puma has some travel plans out to France with his
Paris.
With his girlfriend.
Going out there with the girlfriend.
Nice. You guys have a great old time. I'm actually heading out to LA for a week or so for work, so we're both going to be gone. But
I expect a picture of the new Ram Stadium.
Well, I'm going to try to get out of there without an earthquake happening. And
dude, what the fuck's going on out there?
Dude,
it's like 7.0 this morning.
So listen, not to scare you, right? But before that massive 8.8, 9.0 earthquake in Japan, the one that knocked out that Fukushima nuclear power plant. Before that happened, the 2 days before that, they felt bigger and bigger earthquakes, right? So it was like 7.1 and 7.3, and then the massive one hit the third day.
Yeah, because 2 days ago, LA County got hit with a 6.8, 6.9?
So 2 days ago, LA County got hit with a 6.4. Last night, it was 7.1. And I tell you what, I would not be shocked if within the next 24, 48 hours.
Pun intended.
There's a really big earthquake coming. So hopefully those guys are safe out there. I was speaking to some of the guys that work in our Van Nuys office, and they're like, yeah, we definitely felt it. So hopefully they stay safe, and I hope nothing bad happens out there.
Yeah. I wonder, who's your guy out there that's a Vikings fan?
Aaron. Oh, yeah. Let's give a shout out to my boy, Aaron LaFald. The guy is our biggest fan in the Van Nuys office.
I kind of want to know, what's his thoughts on Kirk Cousins going into year 2 with possibly he's going to have a better offensive line. He's going to have a fully recovered Dalvin Cook and a Gary Kubiak balanced offense. I kind of want to hear what his thoughts are on Kirk.
I don't know what his thoughts are on it. Usually when I call him, he picks up the phone and the first thing he says, "Is this Jay from the PFR podcast?"
Awesome.
And I'm like, "Yeah, buddy, it's Jay Cheema."
Well, have him let us know. I want to tell him the Puma wants to know. What are your thoughts on Captain Kirk?
All right, cool. Yeah, well, I'll touch base and see what the thoughts are. But yeah, that's all I got, man. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Vaya con Dios.